He was always impatient, until one ride changed everything. The city was loud that afternoon. It was the kind of heat-heavy day where horns blared longer than they needed to, and patience felt like a luxury no one could afford. Marcus Reed had been driving since dawn. 8 rides, 1 parking ticket, and 0 tips worth remembering. His shoulders ached, his coffee was cold, and the back seat smelled faintly of fries someone left 2 fares ago. He wasn't in the mood for small talk, not today. In fact, not ever, really. When the app chimed, he groaned. Another ping meant another stranger, and another half hour of pretending to care. He pulled up to the curb outside a bookstore. A woman in her late 20s stood waiting, clutching a paper bag and a half-empty cup of coffee. She smiled politely. "You Marcus?" "Yeah," he said flatly. "Hop in." She slid into the back seat as soft music played from the radio. Have you ever had a conversation you didn't expect, but it changed you forever? This story's for you. For the first few miles, it was quiet, just the hum of traffic and the clicking turn signal. Then she tried to break the silence. "Hot today, huh?" Marcus didn't answer. He just nodded. So she tried again. "You must meet all kinds of people driving this long." "Yeah," he muttered, "mostly ones in a hurry." She smiled faintly, not offended, as she watched the world blur by her window. Minutes later, she spoke again, this time more timidly. "Can I ask you something weird?" Marcus sighed, glancing at her through the rearview mirror. "Depends on how weird." She hesitated. "Do you ever think about calling someone you haven't spoken to in years just to say sorry?" That question caught him off guard. He met her eyes in the mirror. "What makes you ask that?" She looked down at her hands. "It's my dad," she said quietly. "We haven't talked in 6 years." The air inside the car shifted. Marcus turned down the music. Usually, he minded his business, but something about this felt different. "What happened?" he asked, before he could stop himself. She exhaled shakily. "He was strict. He always wanted the best for me, but I thought he was controlling, so I left. Told him I didn't need him anymore." She gave a weak laugh. "I haven't spoken to him since. Then today, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was his nurse." Marcus frowned. "His nurse?" "Yeah," she said softly. "She said he's sick, that he doesn't talk much anymore, and asked if I could come by." Her voice cracked. "I've been in this car trying to decide if I should go." Marcus was quiet for a long time. The light turned green, but he didn't move right away. "You know," he said finally, "I haven't talked to my son in 4 years. Last thing I told him was that I didn't have time for his dreamer nonsense." He chuckled bitterly. "Turns out, he was just trying to show me a song he wrote. I'd give anything to hear it now." The woman looked at him through the mirror with soft eyes. "Did he ever call again?" she asked. Marcus shook his head. "No. Guess we both got too proud." She turned toward the window and said with a trembling voice, "Maybe pride is just fear in a nicer outfit." He glanced back at her, surprised by the truth in it. By the time they reached the street on the app, she looked pale, her fingers twisting the paper bag in her lap. "Right here's fine," she murmured. Marcus looked out. It was a modest brick house with white curtains and a ramp leading to the porch. A live-in nurse sat by the window. He realized it before she said it. "This is his house," she whispered, but stayed seated. Marcus turned off the meter. "You sure you don't want to go in?" Tears welled up in her eyes. "What if he doesn't want to see me?" Marcus smiled faintly. Then at least he'll know you tried. She nodded, took a breath, and opened the door. Halfway out, she turned around. "Thank you for listening." He simply smiled, a quiet look of encouragement in his eyes. She walked up the steps slowly, paused at the door before knocking. Marcus waited just long enough to see the nurse open it and the old man inside look up, a spark of recognition in his tired eyes. The nurse stepped aside and the woman disappeared inside, the door closing behind her. Marcus exhaled, like something heavy had been lifted from his chest. When his phone buzzed with the automatic payment request, he swiped cancel, then whispered, "Not this one." As he drove away, the city didn't seem as loud as before. For once, he wasn't just counting rides. He had helped someone along on her journey to reconciliation. Sometimes, it's not about the destination, but the people you meet along the way. If this story moved you, share it, because you never know when taking the time to truly listen might be the very thing someone's been waiting for. This was a true humanity chronicle, a story that reminds us what it means to be human.